Welcome to Arendal, Norway, a holiday town dubbed the Venice of Scandinavia that's nestled amidst the rugged, meandering fjords where Norwegians love to indulge their passion for boating, fishing, and partying. Now the 2009 UIM WPPA Class 1 World Powerboat Championship season kicks into high gear with the BMW Norwegian Grand Prix. All eyes are on Wellmax and Jorn Thunberg as he looks to repeat his stunning victory here on home turf last year in what is considered one of the greatest Class 1 races ever, when he and Britt Inga Arbacka beat both Victory Team boats to claim top prize. The path to Norway started in Doha, Qatar, where round 1 saw Victory Team's defending world champion Nadir Bin Hendi on board Faza with Arif Saif Al Zafin defeat bitter rivals Spirit of Qatar in their two boats, Qatar 95 and Qatar 96, in an epic display of power and consistency. Faza took the lead in lap 9 after early leaders Qatar 95 suffered engine failure, and they never looked back, starting the 2009 season with a maximum 20 points. Qatar 96 managed to finish second, and Victory clinched third place. This year's race is going to be a spectacular event, as for the first time in Class 1 powerboat history, there will be not one but two races. While the EDOX pole position will determine the starting lineups of Race 1, the final results in Race 1 will determine the grid of Race 2. The new rules have gone down well with fans and teams alike, and all team managers and pilots are in agreement that it will be great for the sport. It's set to be an action-packed week with 3 official practice runs, the EDOX pole position, and a wide array of activities that transforms the city.
Arendal has been organizing the Class 1 event since 1994. We are estimating about 150,000 visitors to our town. The difference between Arendal and any other venue around the world is that we are a small town and the event takes over the city. The city becomes an offshore racing event.
There are 9 catamarans in this year's Norwegian Grand Prix, and here are the lineups. Forestian Swarty, Throttleman and Captain Giampaolo Montavoci will be racing once more with new driver Gianpiero Suave, with whom he last raced in 2004 in Portugal. Ogland Offshore team manager and Wellmax Throttleman Jorn Thunberg has teamed up with a new driver and fellow Norwegian Kolbjorn Selmer. Georgia Offshore also features a new driver with Throttleman and team captain Nicola Georgi teaming up with Norwegian Christian Zaborowski. Tom Barry-Cotter arrives here as Australian Superboat champion and races alongside Norwegian Throttleman Paul Virik Nielsen in Maritimo 11, rounding off a total of 4 Norwegians racing in this event to the delight of local crowds.
It's a lot of pressure on Norwegians here, but that's a part of the game and very fun.
The Norwegian Grand Prix is a week-long festival that includes a wide array of events, including speedrun shows, concerts, ski jumps, and aerial acrobatics. Not to mention an environmental forum on how Class 1 could embrace the challenge of becoming more environmentally friendly. No Class 1 event is complete without a boat parade. The fun continues after sunset as Arendal becomes a party town with exceptional nightlife, all topped off with a spectacular fireworks display. Saturday starts off with less than perfect weather, forcing organizers to postpone Saturday morning's practice run and Edok's pole position.
Yeah, it's a Norwegian summer.
The rain poured down, but the show went on. Hopes are kept high in true Norwegian spirit, but the weather refuses to abate.
Unfortunately, today we've had to take another view with the weather that we've had to cancel out today's race. We've taken it as late as possible to make the decision, but the weather forecast is still going to give us some very poor weather, so we've taken a view, cancel today with the weather that we've got. But tomorrow we're going to run a 60-minute race instead of, today would have been a 35, tomorrow about 40 minutes. So they'll run 100 miles tomorrow out there, so it'll be quite a good race. And the forecast is looking pretty good for us at the moment.
Sunday starts with clear weather as Norwegians gather in the fjord and teams cast a nervous eye on conditions.
Well, I think it's fairly flat. Looks like the sun's coming out. So, you know, we set up a pretty good time on, what was it, Friday now. So hopefully we'll be in that same sort of ballpark. If it is, I think it's going to be a close race out there. Arundel's always a great circuit. Jotun's going to be fast. It always seems to do very well here, better than anywhere else actually. And Faster's going to be really quick as well. 95's just putting a good time, so it's going to be a hell of a race out there today.
Okay, today is we have the only possibility to check the boat because after yesterday we had no chance to go in the water, and we did one lap with the number 3, 2 laps with the number 1. Looks the boat are well prepared. Now we wait because they stop for 10 minutes and then we maybe go again with different setup. I hope the weather stay and then we'll see in the race.
This year's course is set in the Tromsø Fjord, featuring 4 straights, 2 tight U-turns and a blazing side slip. It will be comprised of 14 normal laps plus 2 long laps and the starting lap for a total race distance of 96.31 nautical miles. The weather was good and the race was on. Teams and fans gathered in Arendal's central Pollen Harbor.
This is the race to find the feeling with the new co-driver. It's very important to finish the race.
The problems seem to have gotten better. They're still lingering around. It's done a few things. I missed a buoy this morning, and number 12 we nearly lost the boat. So they had a big one on the turn into town. So you know, we're starting on the second row. We're not thinking we can do much from there. So we'll just look to get some points and, you know, just try and beat the other boats in the second row.
The teams are raring to go after having waited a whole day to get on the water. The crowds gather in eager anticipation of what has become a typically epic race. Victory's fastest official practice time of 3 minutes, 21 seconds and 0.04 of a second earns them the top grid for the 22nd Norwegian GP, the 12th in Arendal, seeing as the Edok's pole position was cancelled. Qatar 96 and 95 took second and third positions respectively, while Faza came in fourth and local heroes Wellmax came in fifth to complete the first row of 5 boats in the starting lineup. The second row of 4 boats is filled out by Georgia Offshore, Maritimo 11 and 12, and in final place, Foresti and Swarty completing the lineup. They're lined up for the start. We're on board with a paceboard, and there goes the green flag. Nearly 10,000 horsepower roars down the crucial opening straight. Victory 1 is in pole position as Faza powers ahead in characteristic style, leading the race to the first buoy. And the drama is already unfolding as Victory 1 edges into Qatar 95's path and shuts the door. And Qatar 95 is left in his teammates' wash. Meanwhile, Faza 3 also seems to be cutting in towards Qatar 96, squeezing them in with teammates Victory 1 on the inside. Oh, Qatar 96 is left tumbling in the combined Victory wake. This could be a contentious one for the commissioners. The Victory boats have quickly dominated the race. As they come around the first bend, Fuzza and Victory are neck and neck, but Victory just hold on against their teammates. And there's Wellmax on the outside in third place, with the Qatar boats literally washed out of contention for the lead in the first lap. Victory One lead the race under intense pressure from defending world champions Fuzza as they head out of the fjord and into the second turn. Fuzza cuts it way too close and has to alter course, costing them crucial time as they try to cut in on the inside, just inches away from the boy. Behind the leading pack, the Maritimo boats are putting on an amazing performance as Maritimo 12 work their way up from the second start line and creep up on Qatar 95. Maritimo 12 is trying to take Qatar 95 on the outside as Peter McGrath gives directions to Manuzzi. In a daring maneuver, they pass Qatar 95 and then take Wellmax on the inside to move themselves up 2 positions and take 5th. And Forestier and Swarty are bringing up the rear of the pack. As they near the end of the first lap, it's Victory 1 just ahead of Fuzza, followed by Maritimo 11 in 3rd place. Qatar 96 hang on in 4th position, while Qatar 95 and Maritimo 12 are still battling it out to see who'll take 5th position. Then it's Wellmax in 7th, Georgia Offshore in 8th, and Forestier and Swarty in 9th place. So now the boats are rounding off the final turn as they complete the first lap of the race. And what a race this is turning out to be. There's more drama in that first lap than most races put together. Oh, and there's a Maritimo boat almost taking a spin. That could have cost them dear and certainly lost them valuable time. And here's a look back at the start. The 2 Victory boats make a pincer movement, squeezing out the 2 Qatar boats, forcing them to the outside through the wash. And both Qatar 95 and Qatar 96 are shut out in the very first stretch. And now we're back with the action. Victory leads ahead of Fuzza, with Maritimo 11 in 3rd, Qatar 96 in 4th, and Maritimo 12 in 5th. Victory 1, formerly Victory 7, had performed consistently well in 2008 and also finished in 3rd place in round 1 of the World Class 1 Powerboat Championships in Qatar earlier this year. But despite making the podium on most races in 2008, they were never able to win a Grand Prix race. Totalman Jean-Marc Sanchez is himself an 8-time Grand Prix winner and has stood on the podium 21 times. Now he and Al-Maheri might finally be able to add that elusive victory that will help lead them out of the shadow of their more successful teammates in Fuzza 3. But there's still a lot of racing to do. Meanwhile, Georgia Offshore has passed Wellmax, who've tumbled back to 8th position from 3rd place within just 1 lap. They could be having some engine problems there, but there's still a lot of racing to go. Reliability is absolutely essential for Class 1 racing. Now as we come out of lap 2, it's all about Victory Team as Victory 1 keep their fragile lead over Fuzza. Meanwhile, the Qatar boats are outside the top 3, following their dismal start to the race when they were both forced to take evasive action that lost them time and momentum, not to mention their grid positions. The reliability factor is what has defined Victory Team's dominance of Class 1 racing, and so far they're certainly showing an impressive form here as they dominate the race. And what a performance from young pilots Tom Barry Cotter and his Norwegian throttleman Palverik Nielsen on Maritimo 11, racing bravely and solidly to maintain their 3rd place position. Now Nader Bin Hendi and Arif Saif Al Zafin are pouring it on, looking for their chance to nab the lead from Victory 1. But so far, Victory 1 don't look like they're ready to concede a single inch. But you can put your money on Fuzza not to show any mercy on their teammates, as they're sure to put it all on the line to have a shot at that Grand Slam that eluded them so narrowly last year. And look at Maritimo 11 go. Who would have thought they'd be up there considering that dismal run of luck so far? Number 18, Georgia Offshore continues its impressive run, passing Nicolini and Al-Sulaiti in Qatar 95 to clinch 6th position. Lap 4 and Victory 1 are still dominating, with Fuzza 3 right on their tail, followed by Maritimo 11, Qatar 96 and Maritimo 12. Oh, and Wellmax are in a world of trouble, limping off to the pits. A bitter reminder of that broken prop shaft in Qatar. Meanwhile, there's no change at the top as Victory, Fuzza and Maritimo 11 all keep their cool and hang on to their positions going into lap 5. Sanchez and Al-Mahari are putting in a near perfect performance here so far, looking cool, calm and collected. Furisti and Swarty are also hanging in there despite their lingering muffler issues. And lap 5 sees Georgia Offshore's promising run come to a bitter end with what seems to be an engine failure as they're towed off. Christian Zaborowski tries to figure it out, but to no avail. There's only 7 boats running on the course as Wellmax is tied up at the pits and Georgia Offshore is out of the race now. And a big smile on those Maritimo faces as they hang on in there, hoping for a first podium place in their first season back in Class 1. Maritimo Australia team owner and former Class 1 champion Bill Barry Cotter must be very proud of his team, not to mention his son Tom Barry Cotter, who's running the Class 1 race of his life right now. We're into lap 6 as Fuzza 3 presses so hard they nearly overshoot the boy, but they manage to pull themselves back on track in pursuit of Victory 1. As Victory 1 are going for the long lap, Fuzza 3 moves into first place. The defending world champions are back in their favorite position. The roles are reversed now as it's Victory 1 chasing Fuzza, but Fuzza still has a long lap of its own ahead. This is where we see whose tactics will come out on top. Sheikh Hassan and Steve Curtis in Qatar 96 are making their move on Maritimo 11 and they overtake them to secure 3rd place, putting them within shot now of their Victory nemesis. Whoa, and Qatar 96 does a barrel roll. This is incredible. They miraculously land right side up, but they end up with a shattered tail just meters away from Maritimo 11. It's like a recurring nightmare, as this was the very same boat that they flipped in Qatar 2008. What a shattering setback for the spirit of Qatar. And that puts Maritimo 11 straight back in 3rd place, their hopes for a podium spot rekindled. It's all about the supremacy of Fuzza now. And there's Wellmax, who have rejoined the race following a prop change, albeit now too many laps behind to realistically hope to defend their Norwegian title. Qatar 96 is towed back as a pensive Sheikh Hassan and Steve Curtis rue what might have been.
Well, we came down, we got a really bad start. We got chopped off real bad at the start and almost blew it over off of Fassa's wake. And because of that, we went into the first bend, I think about 6 or something. We caught up to 3rd. And then as we came down here, we were pushing to catch up, put it through the bend. We had a slide on. I think we must have caught a wake off or something, and it did a 360. Landed the right way up, so just happens. Pushing too hard, I think.